This is my Focus
It's
weed
what
pen.
it says. It says it right there.
Focus. I wish alcohol. This is my Focus beer. This is for when I'm
That's-
about to drive.
Yeah.
Gotta get in the zone, man.
Well, that's what Sparks used to. We started.
Yeah,
Oh.
let's do it, dude.
Yeah, we just get right into it.
There's no intro.
No, it's pretty much a hang.
All right,
I mean,
sorry. No.
this show
Don't
is-
bring it up. Don't talk about it. So in high school, we used to get Sparks. Did y'all? You might be too young for Sparks. Sparks
Yeah,
was like
never
the
heard of Sparks.
original Four Loko. So it was.
I love how because I'm like slightly right after Four Loko.
I know,
So I'm
dude.
like the original Four Lokos already has the mistakes, but you're like, no, we're talking before that.
So it was.
Yeah, like
before
to me,
Volo.
the fact that Four Loko is part of like a tradition is shocking.
Yo, no, Four Loko was like the next iteration. It used to be way more dangerous because like Sparks, it looked like an energy drink. Like there was no mistaking like Four Loko for Four Loko.
Yeah.
This was like an orange and a silver can. Said Sparks and energy drink letters, and it was malt liquor with insane amounts of caffeine.
Oh.
So I would go pick them up on the way to high school,
Yeah.
and I would drink them on the road because nobody could tell that it wasn't a Red Bull or
This
anything.
Hilarious.
is honor roll alcoholic level shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Well-
dude. This is absolutely valedictorian.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
it was tight.
No
and
one's
then,
thinking it looks like an energy drink. You're
And
focused.
you can leave
also,
them-
you're up a little bit.
Exactly.
You're
You
up, but
could-
you're a little loose.
but you could leave them
You're
in
a
the
paradox.
car, and nobody would tell that it's alcohol. They'd be like, "Oh, well, this guy's drinking a lot of energy drinks and
just
throwing them on
focusing.
the."
Yeah,
Gotta
but
be
Yeah.
he's gonna drive fucking perfect.
Exactly. But yeah, did you guys ever do that?
That's like you on a first date. So
Yeah.
anyway, what are you, a Sparks or Four Loko kind of gal?
There were a few
I
others.
never even had a Four Loko.
No, they were right. It was right before, and then the current Four Loko just sucks. It's just
I
it
liked
tastes
it.
like battery acid.
I didn't mind it, but
But
like
it's still around? I thought it got totally banned, or it just got changed.
They changed the formula.
Yeah,
so
but
what,
the
but it's still
original
caffeine
shit.
and alcohol?
I don't think it's there's no caffeine in it. It's just shitty flavored alcohol.
Oh.
I've been out of the game for a little while, but like.
Well, now it's espresso martinis.
Yeah,
Now it's
Espresso
classed it up.
martinis
that's a
have been around
fancy Four
forever.
Loko.
Yeah.
But this isn't the same because it was like rocket fuel. You would put that shit. It like was thicker than booze.
It's like if you had like a Celsius but like 12% alcohol.
kind of, but like
Celsius, what are we doing?
I just remember.
You want a brand promotional?
Yeah.
If we're gonna live in hell, bring back all the poison. I'm tired of this. The wages aren't going up. The planet's melting, but you can't afford Loco. Fuck that, dude. You give me the Four Loko, and then
I don't
fuck
know,
everything
dude.
else.
As someone that actually had the original shit,
Yeah.
I spent 2 hours on a friend's porch going like alone.
Yeah, but that's the level of fucked up you need
Friend's
to be.
porch, no friend.
No, the friends were all asleep. Everybody else was passed out, and I just sat out there by myself without a shirt on. I was like, "This is the most fun I've ever had in my entire life."
fucking awesome.
And then they were like, "We're going to take out the caffeine. It's not safe." It's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's
I'm
fine.
doing fine. I'm having a good time, and I haven't had fun since.
This is such an appropriate conversation because we're in my room for this episode, and this does look like like two therapists came to visit me. And just
Hilarious.
ask,
Oh,
and they're like,
wellness
"Where
check.
are the doll? Did he touch you?" Like that feels like we're all gonna sit on the floor.
What kind of therapists do you have that are dressed like us? They came in here, old sweatpants and Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you could look like a cool guy there. You kind of have like a young Christian sort of vibe going on.
oh, really?
Yeah, like like the non-denominational, like they have a church that looks like a brewery.
Sure.
I feel like
sure.
that's like the Birkenstocks. So you're like, yeah, dude, Jesus was chill.
It is
He
weird.
just wanted to hang out and be a good friend.
It's weird now that it's like because I'm looking for a food therapist, and
Really?
yeah, that's a whole other thing. But like,
Okay.
I was looking online, and it's like they all have tattoos now, and they're like,
Hilarious.
Yeah.
and I hit up this lady, and I was like, "You look familiar." I don't know why. She lives with this girl I went on a Tinder date with
Oh my
like for a
God.
while ago, and I was like, "Fuck!" And did I hit a button?
Oh, if it was the bottom one, I don't even know what those do, so it's probably
All right, cool. Sorry. Yeah,
Just explode.
but so
Explode
like
your head.
this was like a Tinder date from years ago, and I'm too afraid to like respond to her email because like I reached out first. I was like, "Hey, I would like this," and she sent me an email today, just like, "Yeah, let's set up a consultation." I was like, "Where do I know you from?" And I did some Instagram diving, and I was like, "Oh, that's right." And I haven't responded, and I think I'm just gonna deal with this food thing for the rest of my life.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Because that's so funny, dude. It's also so funny that they're all hot and tattooed.
I know.
Because there is something about, okay, I know this is deeply problematic, but there is something about like girls who recover from anorexia, just the bare legal limit are always so hot. And it's like whenever there's like a girl that I'm like, wow, she's so beautiful. And then we like start talking. She's like, yeah, I like had anorexia when I was younger, but now I'm better. And I'm like, so you just ate the legal like
Exactly.
minimum required amount of grapes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like that is the secret to being hot is like just barely recovering from anorexia. Like they are like unfortunately.
That might be true because I think that anorexia takes a lot of discipline. It's not something you can do. And
it's not a fun disorder. You're not like a partying. You're like really depriving yourself of a lot.
Well,
no,
I
it's
don't
like
know
horrible,
of
and
any
I've seen it like ruin people's lives. Like I'm
Yeah.
in no way making light of it.
Right.
But once you recover, if you just barely recover,
right. There's only
If you
two ways
just-
to go.
If you just have like the full bag of almonds,
yeah,
then you're
exactly.
really cooking.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the good fat. And then and
Not
then
a lot of disorders make you hotter in that way when you come back from them.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Like your other ones, you go up just because you're not like on the street anymore.
Well,
but yeah,
I guess disorder is different than disease, right? Because there are a lot of people that come back from diseases way hotter because they've lost a lot of weight from medication or whatever, and then the hair grows back, and it's like, fuck.
the cancer really took. Yeah.
Cancer brought your weight down, and you look
yeah.
great. I mean, I've got a few people in mind, and we've talked about it. They're not like I would do this again. But like,
But you're like, well, this is a nice little bonus.
exactly.
Pitching it as like a P90X DVD weight loss thing.
Yes.
We're gonna
there's a-
put battery acid in your veins.
Yeah,
and,
you're going to lose a lot of weight.
lot
You're
of
going to lose your eyebrows. But when they come back, you're going to have an 8-pack of abs.
There
You're-
are people who would do that. What is that if not just like insane Ozempic?
I guess someone was trying to justify Ozempic to me. Not like justify. I have no stance on Ozempic. I'm still not entirely sure. The fact that they let you put a needle in yourself scares the shit out of
Yeah,
me.
that's
I
hilarious.
didn't know it was a needle.
Oh yeah, it's an
It's an
injection.
injection.
That's so funny.
It's like
But
any-
then you gotta do
just
that
go
for?
to the goddamn gym. I'm sorry. It's like the fact that you're like, I don't know. It's either eat healthy and work out, or you're like, I'm stabbing myself
that's the
every
thing.
day.
It's originally for people with diabetes.
Right.
Oh.
So it does a lot
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than just like weight loss is what
I
I've
heard
heard.
it's like an anti-addiction drug.
Yeah, I've heard it's like a miracle drug.
Oh, wow.
That for a lot
There's
of
gonna be
shit.
some crazy side effect. Your eyes pop out of your head.
But
probably.
people with diabetes, I don't know what it does for them, but they need it. And then people started using it, like celebrities started using it for weight loss, and now people with
It's
diabetes
probably
are like,
like
I
a
fucking can't
glucose
get my
thing.
Ozempic.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's
maybe.
it's got to be. But the fact that they let you put a needle in your own body makes it so scary.
Crazy.
To me.
I would watch my mom has diabetes. I would watch her have to like
Finger
inject
pricks
her
and stuff?
finger prick, and then like before they had the new kinds that they have now, like inject
Yep.
herself with the fucking thing all the time. It's like crazy, but she just gets so good at it that it's like
Doesn't
Also,
matter.
if you're trans, sometimes hormones you have to like.
I don't care.
Which if you are doing testosterone, that does feel like a cool like proof that you're
Yeah,
a
yeah,
man.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yourself.
As I said that, I was like, someone might have that bit. I don't want to.
Well,
step
even
on
like
that,
an
but-
EpiPen, it's like I don't think we should be administering these ourselves.
Hilarious.
Because I'm so, like,
Do you have an EpiPen?
fuck no. If I had an allergy, I'd be dead because I'm too afraid to put a needle in my own body.
You're
Like,
I'll just wait this out.
it's. I really think if like heroin hit you as hard any other way, I would have tried it.
I think it does for a lot of people.
No,
I hate to break it to you.
No.
It hits hard, but it's
It's
nothing,
like
is as
nothing
good
like
as
the- yeah.
nothing's as good as putting it right in your vein.
it's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
real
yeah.
thing. It's like original Four Loco and the new one. It's the same shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's another podcast under a bridge somewhere where they're like, they watered it down. You can only snort it now.
Yeah.
When I was in
yeah.
high school, I was fucking injecting myself and driving my truck.
They're cutting it with all kinds of bullshit. to make the original
Fucking
stuff.
FDA coming
Yep,
down.
government had to come into my heron.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's,
speaking
sorry.
of trafficking, didn't you have a pretty crazy encounter?
Yeah, you've been
recently?
on the road in
I've been
more ways than
traveling.
one.
I know, dude. I've been a dirty little boy. Yeah, no,
we
I
literally
drove,
were like, we gotta get you on the podcast. You were telling me the stories,
Yes,
and I was like, this
so-
is so fucking crazy.
So I drove a van across the country. Is really all that
Yeah.
needs to be said about this. I drove a windowless white van from New York City to Vancouver, British Columbia. I found out there's a Vancouver in Washington also, but it's sketchy. It's a sketchy van. I was doing it to drive it to a buddy's like home in Vancouver while he's shooting a TV show, which is important for this story. And his name is, well, I guess we can call him. He didn't do anything bad. Michael Rowland is shooting a show called Animal Control in
Shout out Michael
Vancouver.
Rowland.
Shout out Michael. This is also important. The show takes place in Seattle, but it's shot in Vancouver. This is going to be necessary information. The first part of it was fantastic. I drove, I did shows, and I was like, this is going to pay for the rest of the trip. And then I left Minneapolis. Have you guys ever been west of Minneapolis?
No.
Not in a car.
That's where
yeah.
the country ends. It stops. Minneapolis is the last city, and then you're in the Dakotas. And it's fucking empty out there. And when you're driving, so I'm driving this van, and I've been great so far. I haven't been pulled over. Nobody suspected me of anything. I'm flying down the highway. I'm doing 80, and I'm like, you can do this here. It's amazing. The speed limit is 80, and I see 2 highway patrol officers to the left. And I freak. You guys have driven cars, right?
No.
You always stop when you see a
You
cop.
always
down a
slow
little bit,
down. There's
yeah.
like, oh shit, yeah.
Yes. So I slowed down, but I didn't realize there was a semi-truck behind me that had to swerve out of the way.
Oh.
So I'm slowing down, and I'm like, whew, that was close. And then, like, I see in the rear view the cop just start to pull over. And he's chasing me, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I've got cruise control on. This van is tagged. It looks shady. Also, if you were driving a van, like, if you saw a van that had, like, a squiggly line in spray paint, would you think the driver did that?
Honestly, maybe.
Really?
But I know you're talking about there's graffiti on the side of it.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's also like, why the fuck would the driver do that?
Exactly.
Like, clearly, like somebody did that to your car.
Everywhere I went, people are like, what's that say? What does it mean? It's like, I don't know, you dumb lady in Montana with an Ultra MAGA t-shirt, which I had never seen before.
Ultra MAGA.
Ultra MAGA.
Ultra MAGA.
Montana rips.
MAGA's not enough.
MAGA is
I'm
not
ultra
enough.
MAGA.
It's a bigger version of MAGA, and that's
Yeah.
where they're really... I felt
It also-
safer around them, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
I
It's
was-
like when someone says ATM machine, it's like Ultra Make America Great
Yeah.
Again. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Set out.
This is how secure these people are. The guy that I saw in an Ultra MAGA t-shirt was the attendant at a gas station you didn't have to pay before you pumped.
Oh my god.
It was that was the scariest thing. Yeah, so you pump and then you go in and pay him.
Well, I think it's
Wow.
like, well, we'll shoot you in the head.
Exactly. Exactly. For $36 worth of
in
gas.
this town, and we all have guns, and we literally dream of
Well,
using
I
them.
don't think it's a town. It was a gas station with a house in front of it. And
Oh
that's
my
where they
God.
lived. It was like scary empty, and it was pretty cool actually. It seems like a nice
It's
way to
also
live
like,
if I'm
don't
being
you
honest.
have your thing? It's like, make America great again. It's like, you're alone in the woods. Do whatever you want.
They're not even in the woods. They're in the fucking plains. It's like it's the kind of thing where
Like, build
it's-
your little whatever.
I don't understand
Build
how
a wall
they
around your house. Just live there.
I just don't understand how they know there's a president.
Yeah.
I don't understand what they do. There's no one around you for 25 miles.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine
yeah,
with whatever.
you're it, dude.
Yeah,
This is it.
no one's taking nothing from you. The only people that are that close to your home are me late at night trying to find a place to park this van. And so anyways, all right, so I'm going down the highway and I'm freaking out and I'm just like, I got to get off at the next exit. I'll go to a gas station. I'll kind of regroup and recalibrate because this cop is following me. So I pull off at the next exit and
Oh, but he didn't have his sirens on.
no, he's just following me.
Oh, that's so much scarier.
It's so scary.
Because it feels
right?
like they're waiting for you to fuck up, and if you get
They
out of
are.
their, and if you get out of their way, then they're immediately like, "Well, why'd you go out of my way?" And you're like, "Cause you're freaking me out."
Dude,
It's like
I'm
otherwise
not
you're like
doing it.
sort of in an unofficial chase.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I was switching lanes and I saw him following me and I was like, fuck.
That's what ultimate move is. You just would stop for fast food.
That's
And
what I
go
was.
in.
But
Whoa.
I was trying to do something like that.
Where it's a genuine
there's fucking
excuse.
nothing.
There's
Yeah.
exact. So I get off the exit.
So you got to go buy an Ultra MAGA T-shirt.
Well, dude, you can't even do that.
Yeah, you got.
You can't even do that. So I get off the exit, and I'm not exaggerating because I looked it up after the whole ordeal. It would have taken 25 miles for me to find anything. It's
Jesus. Brutal.
Nothing. And all that was a random Exxon station in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I get off the exit. I realize I'm fucked. I am just like, goddamn. And I don't know why I'm so scared, but I know that I am. Actually, yeah, I do. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere, and it's scary.
Yeah.
So I start slowing down. The cop pulls me over for doing 27 and a 25. Because
he just wanted to fuck you over.
Jesus.
well, hold on. He explained to me why he pulled me over. I was like, this makes perfect sense. So he comes up to the window. He's like, hey, and I immediately was like, looking for a gas station? Just looking for a gas station. He's like, there's nothing out here. Like immediately, and I'm sweating bullets, and he's just like, you're driving a pretty shady van. It's you're not from here. This isn't of your registration or whatever. He's like looking in the car, and it's just a mess. There's a bed in the back of it. There's like all kinds of shit.
It's like 101.
It's-
Okay, it looks like your probable cause is your weird vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey man, well why don't
You're
you?
just using a bag of heroin as a pillow.
Kind of. It was a bag of weed, but
Yeah.
like he actually yes. So it doesn't matter what it was, but because it doesn't matter. He's like, hey man, this is shady. Why don't you come out of the car? And I was like, and I want to find the body cam footage because he's like, why don't you sit in the car? We'll figure this out. And
It's in the police car.
yes, and
You're like, I haven't even done anything. How about you go sit,
dude,
in the?
I am walking out with my hands up, just like, am I being arrested? And he's like, no, dude, like absolutely not. He's like, you don't want to be in the back seat of the car. So we get in the front seat. I'm explaining the situation. I'm like, my friend is shooting this TV show in Vancouver. So now he's got Michael pulled up on the laptop in the cop car.
Like Googling him?
Googling Michael.
Oh my
and
God.
he's just like, is this the guy? I was like, that's the guy. He's like, you said you're driving to Vancouver. I was like, yeah. He's like, well, it says the show's in Seattle. I was like, well, it's shot in Vancouver. He's like, but it takes place in Seattle. Like he could not wrap his head.
Yeah, and he's like, there's no way this
This
two
can't
things
be
look
real.
alike. You
It's-
would see all those gay Canadian flags and know what it is.
Dude, it was.
He was like, I caught you in a lie, brother.
It's kind of what he's like. Well, why are you sweating so much? I was like, I'm in a fucking cop
Yeah, it's
car,
hysterical.
man. And so
They really do look up shit like that.
yes,
Yeah.
and I'm like watching him do it on this laptop,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to explain. It's like that's him. You see, the name on the registration is the same. Like, what more do you need? And he's just
He's just like explaining how TV works. You're like, well, it's really expensive to film in the States, so a lot of things are filmed
Right.
in Vancouver.
Well,
For instance,
WGA just had a strike, and it's like also a good thing you have successful friends because there's a lot of friends that'd be like, Google him, and it'd be like, I'm not seeing shit.
yeah, I know.
you're like, no, you see that Grady podcast? That's him.
Well, and that's
Like watching, he's like, that's not pretty. Why did it cut off halfway through? iPhone camera shaking the back of a Comedy Zone. You're like,
It was fucking hilarious because I'm also. Did you know this is? I never realized this before. Do you know why it's called sitting shotgun in the passenger seat?
No.
Does that carry shotguns?
You're sitting next to a vertical shotgun.
What?
And I'm just staring at this thing. There's a drug dog. So now that this is all wrapped up, he's like, all right, here's the deal, man. So I'm specifically part of the drug and human trafficking department of the North Dakota State, whatever, like the troopers. So as long as you don't have drugs or any people in there, you're going to be okay.
But did he say it like, no, I have a strong feeling you do?
No, he was just like, but he's being very serious. He's like, I've got the dog in the back, and I'm like, And in my head, I'm like, there is some weed in there. I know there's got to be some weed.
Isn't it legal in North Dakota?
Who fucking knows, dude? Yeah. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, yeah, that's all right, man. I should be okay. As soon as he says people, I kind of like try and like really get myself into acting mode, and I'm like, oh, that's it? Nah, you're good, man. What? You're good. You're good. And he buys it because I know that like. Weed is federally decriminalized, but I've heard so many stories of people getting arrested in the Dakota. It was the one place I was driving through where it made me nervous.
Jesus.
And I fucking throw in the big guns like, brother, come on. Yeah, man. You know what? I think I got some, shit that the dog can have, actually. Like, I'm just like, I got some
Just beating up bars of chocolate.
yeah, I've got a... No, it's like, now if he said, I'm with the weapons department, I would have been like, oh, right. Yeah. Don't look in there. But, so he sees that I'm cool, and he's like, yeah, man, so you live in New York? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm from the Catskills. Miss the pizza. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
The famous Catskills pizza.
Famous Catskills pizza. He's like, yeah, it's a different way of life out here. I'm like,
you're like, middle of nowhere there, middle of nowhere here. What
I'm just like staring at this gun, and I'm like, yeah, it is a different way of life over here, dude. Like, what are you going to do? And he's like, man, honestly, if you hadn't slowed down, I wouldn't have pulled you over. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Am I in trouble? Like, he's just kind of teasing me a little bit. And he's like, so you promise you're going to Vancouver, right? I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, one more time. It takes place in Seattle, and I fucking lost it. I lost it. And
it's like the IMDb, it's not getting good ratings. Yeah. I don't think anyone's buying the Seattle thing.
yeah, it was crazy. And so he lets me go.
It didn't get renewed for a third season.
Right. And he let me go, and it was really lucky because if he had checked the wheel well, he would have found I had 2 Russian babies in there. But but I was like, and I'm like, I think, all right, I got my scary cop thing out of the way, and honestly, this was great. This is a funny story. This was a good kick in the pants of all right, well, you got to stay on your toes, don't do anything fucking weird. Why do we, So I have a great week. Just camping, having fun. I am doing drugs that I brought with me that he didn't find. I'm having a good ass time. And then I go to the Pacific Northwest. I'm crying at mountains. I'm like, this is beautiful. I can't wait to get to Vancouver. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to go to Canada. And have y'all ever crossed a border in a car?
Yeah, once.
You have?
No.
Where did you go?
I was going to Montreal.
From here?
Yeah.
What was it like? Were you driving the car?
No, my cousin was, and we were with her and all of her like friends from like Dartmouth, and everyone was like giggly on our way to a ski trip, and they're still like, so how do you guys know each other? But like they make you, they like intimidate you just so that if you crack, they like know they're onto something.
Totally. And did they search your car?
No, I don't think they did.
Okay.
No, they just checked our passports.
Oh, that's so much better than what I got. A
God.
million
And the
times
van
better.
is really
This
I
van.
mean, the van does look sketchy.
A lone man in a van is
And
bringing
it's-
some heat.
It's
dude.
got no windows, and also, a couple months ago, I saw my ex-girlfriend in a neighborhood neither of us live in, and I'm pretty sure. And I was driving the van, and I'm pretty sure she clocked me too. And I can only imagine what it looks like when your ex is driving like a windowless white van.
Looks like he's taking his breakup pretty hard.
Yeah, in a neighborhood neither of you live in,
Yeah.
where it's like,
What's going on?
Yeah, no, don't mind me and my fellas in the back. They're just my fucking
On the
nerds at the
laptop
control
and-
center.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So this van is nothing but shady shit for
Looks
me.
like a CIA stakeout. It's like flower shop, and you're
Yeah,
like in front of her on a date. Just like, oh shit! no.
yeah, exactly. But so when they're driving, there's like a guy pre-checking you almost, right? He's walking. He's got like
Yeah.
the bulletproof vest, the gun, and he's like asking you questions so that like before you get to the booth where they check your shit, they have some kind of an idea. And I'm explaining everything to the guy, and he's like, okay, I guess this, whatever.
So
Yeah.
funny
sure.
to have that accent. With
Oh,
like
it
a
gets
machine
better.
gun out.
But he's just like, yeah, man, you're
Oh,
good.
okay.
I get it. Okay, so they're shooting. Great. Yeah, I mean, well, okay, we are going to inspect it just because it is a third-party vehicle and all that. And I was like, that makes sense.
Third party, as in it's not
it's
registered
not
under
mine.
your name.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, you know what? I do have a little bit of weed, but it's Canada.
Yeah,
and
well,
it's
weed legal. In Canada.
Weed is legal, but bringing it across the border is not. And I was like, I think I'll be okay. I don't think that they're going to search it. Like, I'll be all right. As soon as I pull out, they're like, all right, get out. You're going to get out of the car. We are going to search the car. And I was like, fuck. And they're like, this is the drug dog. Are we going to find anything? And I immediately crack. I'm like, yes. There is like a little bit less than, there's some pot in the car. They're like, how much pot? I was like, I don't know, less than an eighth. They're like, that's it? I was like, that's it. And they're like, anything else? I was like, you know what? There's a tea bag with a little bit of mushrooms in it. They're like, that's not, how many? I was like, it's small, like small. And he's like, that's cool. Don't worry about it. You're okay. Nothing else. No party drugs, no powders. No. I was like, no, man, I actually, I quit drinking years ago. Like the only thing I really do is I smoke pot and I'll do mushrooms sometimes. He's like, oh, congrats. And
as the drug dog's out. Yeah.
well, and at this point, I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to be okay. Like, I think that they're like, this is a small amount of shit. It's obvious he's not like trafficking anything. This is like clearly personal use. It's like a joint and a half. And then he's like, all right, so do me a favor, just empty out your pockets. You seem pretty confident that we're going to find, marijuana and mushrooms. Anything else? I was like, nothing. Okay, empty out your pockets. I emptied out. I've got a vape cart. And he's like, don't worry about it. I was like, I can throw all this stuff away. He's like, you don't have to throw it away. I was like, I think I'm going to have like a really nice, easy time in Canada.
Yeah. They're like, you don't need to do that, pal.
I was like, oh my God.
That's a new vape cart, man.
They're I bought
He's
it
like,
that morning.
brother, yeah, that's like $60.
They were-
man. He's
well,
like, you need another one?
It's funny you say it's $60 because, so he's like, don't worry about it. You're good. Just do me a favor. Flip out your pockets. I flip out my pockets. And he's like, in the fifth pocket. And I was like, what fifth pocket? He's like, the coin pocket. Have you ever put a coin in your coin
Never
pocket?
once.
Never
in my
even
life.
used it.
No, that's a drug pocket.
It is a drug pocket.
And-
That's what I thought. And I have a
Exactly.
feeling where the story is going.
So, the only reason I'm wearing these pants, I haven't put them on in maybe 6 months, more than that. They've been through the wash a bunch, is because I spilled coffee on these pants. And I
Yeah.
was like changing before I got to the border because I didn't want to be in gym shorts, whatever.
Yeah.
And I reach in and I feel a plastic bag and I'm like, oh, fuck. Like I know immediately this is something, but I don't know what. and I pull it out, and I'm like, is that a leaf? Like, maybe it's a leaf. I might just have a weird leaf in a little pocket, which I've never done.
You've never been like, this would be great for my scrapbook.
I've never.
Let me take the ketamine out of my pocket, put it right.
I wish it was ketamine. I don't.
Well, no, actually, I think no.
I'm pretty happy with what turned out. But so it's a single tab of acid from, I'm not kidding, 2.5 years ago. I don't remember the last time I did acid. I remember losing this acid, and I remember being very upset about it at the time.
It'd be great if you're like, oh, that's where I put that acid.
Kind of did. So like, he's like, I pull that out. I'm like, what is that? He's like, what is that? And I was like, oh no. And I'm like, fuck. And honestly, he's like, is that acid? And I was like, it's acid. I wanted to be like. So anyways, he immediately, the tone shifts. And he's like, you're being arrested for smuggling. I'm going to need you to put your hands behind your back. So he handcuffs me, and they're so Canadian about it. They're just like, oh, are the cuffs too tight, bud? We can loosen the cuffs if they're too tight, bud. It's not the crime of the century. You're going to be okay. You're gonna be
the worst thing that ever happened.
Hey, it's not the best. He's like, but he's saying this, but he's still doing this shit. He's like, it's not the crime. Look at my partner. Look at my partner. Now look at the door. Walk forward. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be all right. But
Get your goddamn ass in the car. It's okay.
Well, no. So they take me away from the car.
Commit your life to Christ after. Turn it around,
dude. So
Jordan Peterson comes and preaches.
I wish. Well, they don't do the. They did do the whole like anything you can say will be used against you and shit. Yeah. And they throw me in a concrete room with a metal toilet. They take
Are you alone?
I'm alone. They take
in another country.
Yes. And they take my shoe, and which you don't really
it's like
think
the prison
about.
meal, just like a bowl of maple syrup.
Yeah, well, at no point do you really register like, oh, this is a different country until you're in a cell. And you're like, oh my God, I am on international soil, even though I'm 50 feet away from the U.S. Yeah. Oh. And so they take my shoes, my...
Look, I want to talk to the goddamn embassy. Register Joe, I'm a political prisoner.
It's funny, but so that's what happens. They go, all right, as part of the Vienna Convention, you are legally allowed to, contact the consulate, let them know that you have been arrested on foreign soil. And when he says you've been arrested on foreign soil, it all really kicks in. And I'm like, oh my God, I have no money. I am fucked. And they've called a lawyer at this point. I'm freaking out. And you're just alone. You have no belt. They took my sweater and it's cold. There's no toilet paper. And I didn't have to poop, but if I did, I was like, there's no toilet paper here. And it was scary. It's scary.
Were you almost like, well, Canadian prison, maybe not that bad? You know what I mean?
But that is what I thought. But then I went straight to, well, they're going to extradite you to like San Bernardino. And, and that's going to suck. It's hot there.
You do like prison time. You're like, I had a tab of acid.
So he comes back. And so he's like, I'm going to check on you every 10 to 15 minutes. I'm like, great. So the first time
that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was. The first time he comes in, he's like, and I was like, hey man, that acid's kind of been through the wash. Like, I bet it's not. I bet it's just paper. He's like, what? I was like, well, I tell you, and I tried to make a joke, and he was funny. This one, the rest of them were not. This one was funny. I was like, tell you what, if you put it in your mouth and you start tripping, I'll go to jail, huh? And,
that's really funny.
And I was like, if nothing happens, I'll just keep on going. He's like, you're funny. Because I did tell them I was like, because they ask you what you do for a living, and I'm like, fuck, like I really don't have anything to say except comic. And I do that, and he's like, all right, I get it, okay. And he's like having a good time with me. And
well, you used to do comedy. Bro.
Yeah, sure.
Now you're sitting in jail.
You're going to be making a lot of extradited statesmen laugh. But so like he leaves. I was like, can I call my friend? Can I like call anybody? He's like, not until we search the car. So they're searching the car. I was like, how long is that going to take? It's like, well, it depends what we find. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
The fun tone is gone.
Well, no, he's all right, but he's also like, I was like, yeah, but it's not my car still. Like there could be shit in there that I don't, and there wasn't. But I'm freaking out in my head. He comes back. He's like, all right, I need you to be totally honest with me. This cop was good enough where I was like, I spread my legs. He's like, just promise me you're not crotching nothing, bud. And I was like, it's like I'm not crotching. His name was Strickland. He rules. And he comes over. He slides the window open. He's like, all right, just be totally honest with me. Just be honest and he's like, when's the last time you smoked weed? I didn't want to be like 2 hours ago, but I was like last night. And he's like, okay, what about the mushrooms? I was like, about a week ago. And he's like, and what about the acid? I was like, Dude, I couldn't tell you. It's been years. He's like, really? I was like, I told you exactly where you were going to find the pot, exactly where you're going to find. I have no reason to lie to you, dude. And he's like, I guess you're right. And then he's like, we're going to let you go without charge. And I was like, what? So he's like, you are going to be searched. But then, like, every time.
You've been guilty of the virtue of honesty.
That's exactly. Dude. And
it's like redeeming. You start glowing and everything comes out. You solved the riddle, young man.
Dude, it was incredible.
You're actually just tripping balls in Montana.
I wish. That would have been the dream.
You just had to learn how to tell the truth to yourself.
Mike's like, where the fuck is my van?
Yeah. It's in the river.
Vancouver, Washington.
You have to tell the truth. Do you love yourself?
Oh. Dude.
Do you forgive your father?
I do feel like...
Your heart opens. You were just in jail in your mind all along, pal.
It's true. I felt like I was in a mental prison because it's like and so they take me out. They're like, all right, you know what? You probably want your phone, your wallet. It's all. They let me go back to the car. I'm like, and then I see they've taken all my shit. Like the vape carts are gone, but they left me the battery. They left me my pipe. They left me all of the paraphernalia, just none of the drugs.
Real message there. Yeah.
Dude, and then they give me a notice of seizure, which has an itemized list of everything they took with an estimated value. Do you guys ever buy mushrooms? Have you?
No.
I haven't in years. It's like $30 an eighth.
Sure.
Yeah.
Would you pay $567 for a 16th?
That's insane. Okay, the markup is
now. What about a vape card? Have you all bought a vape card ever?
No.
like 60 to
60
80.
bucks.
Yeah.
Would you ever pay $374?
I think that's just like some good old bureaucratic corruption of like, oh, what up? We just picked up $1 million street value.
That's exactly it. Where they were like, we got this fucking
we
guy.
got it. We picked up $1,000 worth of illegal
Oh, that's just
goods.
to make them look good on their report?
I don't know.
Because you don't have to like pay that money.
There's literally
or anything,
no
right?
way that that's true.
Well, and then the best part is they valued the tab of acid at $7.
That's some pretty shit acid.
Yeah. The guy did it. It's pretty mild. It's been through the water.
He did it. He was like, "You can." He is tripping, but he's like, "You can go."
You can go, but I do feel
Jail's
better.
wrong.
Yeah. He dismantles it. He like
honest
takes
with
his
me.
badge off, and he's like, "Yo, what am I doing with my life?"
Hey, be honest with me, man. Is my eye really weird right now?
Yeah.
Do I feel weird?
Hey, ACAB, buddy.
Yeah. Oh man, that includes me. Huh? Like, I was losing my mind because like I was high as shit too the entire time.
That's brutal.
I would fully curl into a ball and just
I
start
did.
crying. Yeah.
That's exactly what I did in this Canadian cell. And then this was the kicker. You drive as soon as you are like, you can't see it in your rear view. There's weed shops everywhere.
You're like, what are we doing?
Hilarious.
And get
That's
this.
like they work for the weed shops.
But they're also mushroom shops
Yeah.
in Canada, which
It's like
I
how
didn't
you can't bring
know.
a water bottle into the airport.
That's exactly
You
what
need
it
to buy a
was.
$17 one inside.
Yeah, they give you the bowl back, just like the water bottle. You just got to empty it out.
You gotta
Hilarious.
pay the upcharge.
And it's cheaper in Canada. It's all cheaper.
That's
I was
fucking
buying.
amazing.
So it's just stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's like,
and let me tell you, no one's ever felt like Icarus as much as I have because I fucking.
you immediately pull over and just get high as shit in your car.
That's exactly what I did.
balls, brother.
110%.
The balls.
I stopped
just
in.
absolutely go into
I-
a shop and then
I
be like,
walk-
well, this is legal now, bro.
I walked in. I got a weed soda. I got a pre-roll, and I re-upped on the vape cart. And I walked out. I drank the soda, had a joint on the highway, and just like if I could have done this in the car, this is the move I would have been doing. Just I didn't. If I had sunglasses, I would have put the sunglasses on too. It was the coolest I've ever felt.
Oh my god.
I think I can do anything. Like this is kind of the problem. Is like I do think I'm untouchable. There's nothing I've ever done that's gotten me in like mass amounts of trouble, which is nuts. Because I'm kind of the guy that's just like I'm gonna go out in public incredibly intoxicated, and nobody's gonna do anything because they won't. Everybody's a pussy. I'm the king, dude. Nobody can do nothing. It's nuts. I bet I could win the lottery if I bought a scratch off today. I bet. Like
I'm
that's
saying
like
if I got out of that scenario, but also they probably it's the pity factor that gets you free.
I think they looked at my credit score
I
and
think
they were
look
like,
at the
he
credit.
can't.
They
Yeah.
also look at what you're like nervous and winching out. Like I had a similar, much shorter tale where one time they pulled over me and my friend in Indiana because the car, and then he's like, the car smells like weed or whatever. And is a Nick car, right? Brakes immediately, starts freaking out. And also, this was during COVID.
Yeah.
And he was driving me home for Christmas, and I offered him some money because I didn't want to take a plane. He's like, I'm just driving my friend home. He offered me some money. And then he's like, why would he offer you some money? So he's like making it so much worse. They're ripping apart all our stuff. And then Nick just starts crying, and he's like, am I going to go to jail now?
Yeah, it's me.
And he let him go.
That's
and
exactly.
I think it's because they won. You pissed your pants. You're crying. It's not because you're a badass.
But dude,
that's all cops want is to make you cry.
They just want to make you cry.
If you're white.
But if you can do it, I mean, I watched a guy that I was riding with in high school get arrested for heroin dealing. Like
Jesus.
But I got out scot-free. I was just like,
what'd you do?
What?
Sell him the heroin?
No, I was just like, dude,
like,
this was a time in my life where I was going to AA meetings but still drinking, but I had or NA meetings and I still had the keychains. So I was like, I'm actually sober. This one's for 30 days. And they're like, we get it. I was like, well, this one's for 60. They're like, we understand. It's like 90 days. Like I'm just like trying to over-explain it.
Yeah. Well, you already got lying down. You're lying to yourself and literally 60 people probably.
Oh yeah, dude, a sponsor, a fucking
People do those like Blue Lives Matter stickers in the back of their car. Like people, it's like a joke that people do that so the cops won't pull you over.
It's true, but it's like that's kind of I'm really good at acting, and I can get out of just about anything.
The consequences of your actions, brother.
No, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
seems like higher powers can strike it down.
He's like, no, I got out of those too.
I got out of those. It's crazy. The only thing is,
disease will come back for you, man.
Maybe. I mean, like, I'm only $25,000 in debt. That's the only real negative of my actions.
Oh, 25,000?
Yeah.
I thought you said 25,000. 25,000, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, for sure. But other than that, I'm crushing right now.
You're flying high. Dude.
I have no money. I am so broke.
Just ask us to borrow $50.
I mean, that's why I drove to Vancouver. Was Michael paid me some money to drive his van for him because he didn't want to, and I lost most of it in the weed. Honestly, that was my asset. I was trying to buy art for tax reasons, but I had to buy weed for
art for tax reasons.
Yeah, you can't tax art. And
you can't tax art, man.
You can't tax it. It's an investment, and art is only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. So you just I was going to buy some paintings and jack up the prices.
And what?
That's not true at all.
Tax reason?
No, this is just something that I was trying to say to justify why I lost the money. I would love to be able to do this, but you know how expensive art is?
It's like millions of dollars.
Depends on what you're willing to pay for it. It's a lot of money, though. Yeah. Anyways, but that being said, I'm out of weed. I'm out of acid. I'm out of shrooms. If anybody wants to supply it, I am $25,000 in debt.
Wait, but the rest of your time in Canada and the rest of your trip, no troubles.
Define no trouble. I had a lot of self troubles, but
like with the police.
No, there weren't any other troubles. There are some cities like in the Pacific Northwest. I wasn't ready for like the just open and rampant like junkies out in the street, like hanging over themselves and shit, where you can kind of do whatever, and nobody's going to do anything to you because you're running through an obstacle course of people that are strung out on heroin, and they're making way more noise than you are, so you can kind of do whatever. I was doing bad shit. I was pulling pranks.
What pranks?
I was taking out mailboxes. I was breaking windows.
You made it sound at first like, just like this innocent victim of a corrupt system. Back in America, you're breaking windows and poor people's mailboxes.
Why not?
Wait, are you being for real?
No. But there are people like kind of. It is a bummer because there are people like strung out everywhere. And again, like I wasn't doing that, but you can get away with a lot. I mean, I was sleeping in a van. And no trouble at all.
So the moral of the story is maybe don't drive a giant windowless van.
No, I think the moral of the story is this might be the only way to drive around. It's been 2 weeks. I miss that fucking van. I feel so unsafe. Yeah. Every time I got in that van, I was like, I'm safe. I have a place here. I can like live in this thing.
I mean, literally two different law enforcement agencies are like, that guy is a drug trafficker or a pedophile.
Well, hold
like
on. Okay, hold on. He didn't say pedophile. He said human trafficker.
Which is that's like the polite.
Wait, you steal a 45-year-old man?
I mean, bringing a divorcee named Ted across the border. Like, what are you doing?
That's funny, just to be a human trafficker, but you're stealing like a guy that works in an office. And he's like, "What do you want with me?" And you're like,
"Friend."
Oh yeah.
Although you know what, I'm going to be 100% here. it never occurred to me that they usually don't traffic adults.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
I really thought this was kind of a thing where it's like, of course they take like a grandfather. Now I'm like, there's no street value on like Uncle Bob.
Hilarious.
Damn, I'm really catching up on a lot of shit right now.
That is a weird thing where it's like there are laws, but it is like an unspoken rule that you kind of just like can't be weird.
Yeah.
And they'll go like, "What are you up to?"
We're like, why are you so fucking weird?
Yeah.
Like you're just in jail for like. Have you seen that guy? Just a fucking weird.
He's
bug.
a weird
They
dude.
will. People will just stop you for like being weird.
Yeah.
Yes, they will. And I looked in my journal. I looked in my mushroom journal because I did take mushrooms like right after and hang out like the first time.
Bro, set and setting.
Oh.
That is wild.
Well,
Yeah, I would lose my mind. I would not feel. If I
Well,
smoked weed after being in prison, I'd be like, I'm still in prison.
Oh no! I'm talking
trapped in my
about the
mind.
North Dakota guy.
Oh.
Still, like
It's somewhat scarier. You're sitting next to a shot-off
Well,
shotgun.
I didn't like. It wasn't
That's
like.
crazy.
It wasn't like I took them in the car. Like I when I went to camp that night, I took them and I wrote in my
Still
journal.
so wild.
Well, it was a very pretty space. You should.
No,
have seen,
it's awesome. I just could never.
I don't
imagine.
know if it's awesome. This could be like one of those things where it's like I think this is normal because I'm like, I live in New York. Everybody does this, and nobody in New York's doing this either. It's like I'm in Montana, but I was like writing in my journal. It's like, why are you being weird? Stop being weird. If you're not weird, nothing weird's gonna happen. Like over and over and over again.
Yeah, we found a real weird journal, bud.
It's not weird. No.
All van and no play makes Max a very tired boy. Just written over and over again. They're like, oh my god. They just wanted you to get the fuck out of Canada. They're like, get out of our prison.
Bro, this was
Get
in
high and then
Montana.
get back
This
up.
wasn't even in Canada. I didn't even. This was
Montana.
pre-Canada. This was how I made sure not to be weird in Canada. I said, "Don't be weird. Stop being weird." Over and over and over. This is like,
Which is weird.
it's so
Like
weird.
the weirdest thing.
I know. And what's weirder was I was sitting in the
So you
woods and
learned in NA, you're like, I guess I'll just stop being weird.
yeah, exactly.
12 steps, don't be weird.
Don't be weird.
I haven't
leave
been
it
weird for
again.
90 days.
Yeah. Weird free for 6 months. My sponsor told me I haven't creeped anybody out. But yeah, I guess. I got into the woods. I took my shoes and socks off immediately. Wrote in my journal. Started drinking coffee nonstop. And everything is just like, don't be weird. Don't be weird. Man, there's a girl over there. Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Is she gonna camp next to me? She could be weird. What if she's weird? Don't be weird back. Two weirds don't make a normal person. And it's
Brother,
Mushrooms?
I know that.
yeah. But she
Brother,
stayed.
did I learn that lesson the hard
She
way?
stayed on the other side of the campsite. We didn't have any interactions. It was nice. No weirdness.
Mushrooms and coffee late at night after getting pulled over and
Yeah,
being
that
next to a
seems like recipe
shotgun
for a panic.
is like, and it sounds like it was.
No, it was fine. 'cause
Ding,
I-
easy bake oven, fucking panic attack.
No. I told myself don't be weird, and then it
But
wasn't
it's like
just.
such a negative. I feel like when you're tripping, you can't go down negatively lane.
Sure you
can't
can.
even look down a stroll.
I did.
Yeah, I
I don't mind facing the abyss because when I come out of it, I'm always like, you weren't being weird. You were drinking coffee in the woods, which I guess that is weird if you're not at
Yeah,
a campsite.
drinking coffee
but like,
actually a little weird at night.
I guess.
Enjoying nature? I've done that sober.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, because in my head, I looked weird because I was alone in the woods. And then once I wasn't tripping, I was like, oh, she was alone in the woods. We're
It's a
all alone in
campsite,
the
yeah.
woods. Yeah, this isn't weird. And then I realized I wasn't being weird. And it all came full circle, and then I got arrested at the border.
Wait, so it went arrest, mushroom trip, arrest?
No, well, I didn't get arrested in North Dakota.
That's so
I
funny.
got
Flash just-
Or, but, like-
interrogated in North Dakota for human trafficking.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
honestly, I mean, that's...
All this sounds like a great anecdote to say on a first date when she goes, "What have you been up to?"
It's
Didn't get arrested. I got interrogated for human trafficking.
But then I did get arrested after in Canada. That's the at the border they did arrest me, and oh man, I'd never been in handcuffs before like that.
I can't believe they said that. What was it, the Vienna Convention?
The Vienna Convention.
Like the fact that they were like, the Vienna Convention applies to your life right
I
now.
know, I know.
International negotiations apply to your life right now.
It's all I could think about
Joe
was
Biden just passed.
yeah,
where are you, bud?
yeah, you're where? The border. You can't go to Mexico.
Where are you up there?
Yeah, I'm in Canada. Canada.
Yeah.
Well, why are you doing that? Well, my friend was shooting a show
What
in
did I tell you about calling me this earlier?
Yeah, why are you there?
Wait, so it takes place in Seattle.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
We're going to bring Fox TV back to Seattle, along with the chips.
But,
He's big on the chips. I don't know if you heard. He said that in the debate, too. He's trying to bring chip manufacturing back to America and also put more chips in the bag.
Are you sure he's not talking about microchips?
No, he's literally talking about potato chips, like how there's, like, there's too little in the bag.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar. This is...
No way he said that.
No way.
I did. Look it up. He's talking about how they put too little in the bag. He wants there to be more.
During the presidential debate?
And in several stump speeches, he's talked about how there should be more chips in the bag.
We're so fucked. I'm so fucked. I would rather...
I feel like that's him as president. He's just opening a bag and be like, there's too little chips in here.
No, someone else is opening the bag.
He looks in the mirror and he's like, I know.
Oh.
I would rather be in a border prison than live here.
That's our move if Trump wins. We all just drive up to
Pockets
Canada
full of weed.
with just a fuck ton of acid and be like, you got me.
Yeah, but then they send you right back. You wind up back in America as a prisoner. Or maybe they make you homeless and then you have to go to jail because you're homeless.
Yeah.
That's a thing now.
I would love like a Brittany Grimes situation where you are, and it's like
what
negotiate like Brittany Grimes, like how she was held in rut, like you were actually like a big political prisoner.
Yeah, they're like,
don't you dare put that in my head that could have happened. That it could have been.
It would have been pretty funny
if it was Russia.
I'm sorry, it would have been pretty hilarious.
It would be funny because it's
like you just Max Fun. They have like they put like an Instagram reel to be like, free our boy.
Middle act Max Fine has been arrested at the border for a tab of acid that's been washed twice. Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have been a political... It would have been huge for my career if I was a political prisoner.
It would have been pretty big.
Would have been better than big. Brittany Griner, I have no idea how she is as a basketball player, but I know that she's got some endorsements now. She's home.
Of course, yeah.
I would go for a little bit.
To Russian prison?
Dude, wasn't she? She was sent to like a gulag.
Yeah,
and shit.
I mean, I would say no
for
good.
like a year or something.
What do you
it was
do in a gulag?
You just chill.
Exactly.
It's like I think it's like a hard labor in like the northern tundra or wherever, Siberia.
I like the cold.
Are you? What are you trying to go on a vacation and just get arrested in every country?
I mean, they'll feed you.
You're like on the Interpol, just most annoying weird guy. Like, it's
there's the most wanted and the most annoying. Oh, that's my alarm. Sorry.
I
you gotta go to work?
It's about 3 p.m. So
it's exactly 3 p.m. because
Damn.
I have to read I'm supposed to be reading a passage to boost my creativity.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hello.
Well, I wish you the best of luck on
Don't
your
be weird.
spiritual journey.
Yeah, you're laughing. A big part of it is it says I got a reminder to not be weird, but that's it too.
Right. Well,
All right.
guys, place you
Was
can
that
be
worth
weird.
it?
The goddamn
Was
Patreon, everybody.
Patreon is for weirdos only.
Patrons are weirdos. Fucking stay weird. Max is saying don't be weird.
Was this
Don't be
okay?
weird.
This is incredible.
Great.
Okay.
This is a great,
All right.
fun podcast.
And I'm glad you're safe and okay
Max,
and back in the
love you.
States. We
Max,
love you.
You're a great fun guy.
You're a great fun guy.
Yeah, man.
Y'all are great.
It's all gonna work out.
Do you want to ride later?
Yeah, we're all gonna ride in his windowless van and just see the sights.
Well, you
You know,
can't.
it'd be a real fun little prank. We go in front of your ex, and me and Maddie are kind of hog-tied in the back. Just enough that you can see that there's a person in the back. I struggle a little bit.
Well, I can just pop the doors open and kick you all out, and then drive away real fast.
And we're like, well, it was horrible, but he has a huge dick.
Yeah. Well, okay.
He actually listens.
She
It was
knows.
awful. He tied us up and just listened to us.
I would be lying if I didn't do that with her a few times. I may have never been in handcuffs, but I've used handcuffs before.
Yeah, okay, all right. Cool
Well,
guy,
come over
Max.
to the Patreon and subscribe to the YouTube. If you're listening to this on audio, please check out the YouTube channel as well. YouTube.com/phoneisinthebag. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we love you.
Mahalo.